Hi ladies and any fabulous gentlemen who are watching my channel. So for those of you who are new, welcome. My name is Danielle. This is my channel, Stuff for Chicks. I am a mom next door. I work in the corporate world and I do YouTube on the side because this is my creative outlet. This is my opportunity to share with you guys some of the products, some of the things that I tried, and let you know what my experience is. So one thing that I absolutely love about YouTube is the fact that there's so much information and there's so many different ways to be inspired. So my hope for you today is that you get inspired to try something new. So today's video is going to be a kind of a first impressions tutorial using the brushes, but then also at the very end I'm going to include a clip of my overall thoughts after using them for a week. So I know it's pretty easy to, you grab brushes and stuff like that and you're like, oh, they feel great and they feel wonderful and they look fabulous. But I really wanted to give you guys an idea of what were my impressions, first impressions, but then also once I've been using them and using them every single day, what were my overall impressions? Did I like some of my old brushes better? That sort of thing. So stay tuned for that at the end of the video because again, I just want to be able to provide you guys with a lot of information. This bad boy is $165. You can get a coupon code. I know Jaclyn has one that's like Jack Attack or whatever, and I know there are several other YouTubers that have coupon codes so you can get 10% off. Which is what I did, but I went ahead and purchased it because honestly and truly, the main reason was I needed new brushes. And the second reason was I absolutely love Jaclyn Hill. I think she's awesome. I followed her since she first started YouTube. And when she came out with this brush collection, I knew she was OCD and I knew she was going to really put some thought behind it and not just slap her name on something. So that is why I purchased it, because I do support her. I do like Morphe products, but I wanted to go ahead and purchase this because it is, first off, super cute. The set does come with, let's see, so it has 24 different brushes plus this super cute case. It does have Morphe right there. It is beautiful. It's awesome to travel with, and yeah, it's really nice. Now, one thing that I do have to say, in my tutorial, one of the things that I will mention, and I'll try to cut it out, is I said it really would have been nice to have kind of like a pamphlet or something that says what the different brushes are, and I just realized, that there is actually on the back of the box, she lists out what the different brushes are, what the code is, and then what they are used for, which would have been super helpful if I would have realized that when I was doing the video, or doing the tutorial. But I still think that a pamphlet inside with something like, hey, this is what this brush looks like, and here are some tips to use it, would have been helpful for us, people that aren't makeup artists or anything like that to, get Jaclyn's tips on what she uses stuff for, because I know she uses her brushes differently than a lot of other people, and so those tips would have been super cute. But it is what it is. It does actually have it on the back, so again, reading fixes a lot of things. So stay tuned for the tutorial and then for the overall impressions at the end. So let's go ahead and open this bad boy up. So it does have all the brushes that are individual. Well, it doesn't look like they're individually. Okay, so they're separated out by face, eyes. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this for my foundation. And it's very similar, so this is the It Cosmetics, you can't even tell anymore, it's like butchered. As far as the weight, it actually is heavier than the It Cosmetics. When I first grabbed them out, like just the weight of them, they almost felt kind of cheap feeling, I guess. But now that I'm holding it, it does have some weight to it. So it actually feels much better quality than the It Cosmetics one. And I love the It Cosmetics brushes. There's probably my favorite brush line, but this one definitely does feel good. So it does blend out really nicely. It is super soft. I mean super soft. Much I don't want to say much softer, but it is softer than the It Cosmetics brush. So one thing I do like about it is, normally with the It Cosmetic brush, I have to go in with the beauty sponge afterwards and kind of like press it into my skin. But one thing that I did notice that it really did, especially in this area, I mean, I still have the redness and stuff like that, but there's no splotchy, like, because normally in that area I have really dry skin, and so I have to really press the beauty blender in and like really press the foundation into the skin. But this did a really, really good job of doing that, where I don't feel like I have to do the beauty blender over it. So that's nice. And it does have like a weighted end to it. Like when I hold it in my hand and I'm going like this, I could feel kind of the weight on the end, and it feels comfortable in the hand. I'm gonna do concealer. Okay, so I looked through the whole thing, and this is the closest thing that I see to a concealer brush, but considering that I don't normally use a concealer brush on a day-to-day, I'm just going to use my beauty blender, or whatever, the Real Techniques blender, as normal, just because that's what I normally do. Okay, so I'm gonna go in with the Becca, what is this? Hidromis Set and Refresh Powder. This is how I set my under eyes and my T-zone wherever I put the concealer. So the brush that I found that was similar to what I currently use is this It Cosmetic brush, but this seems very similar to me. It's a little bit more dome shape, but I'm wondering if just over time this has kind of flattened out or whatever, but it's very similar. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this one. So I do have to say, I like the way it feels a little bit denser than the It Cosmetic brush. I feel like when I go like that, I can feel it kind of press. The bristles kind of press into my skin, like some of them give way, but then some of them stay straight, and I feel like the powder is just, is really getting into the every little nook and cranny and fine line that I have. And I feel like I can cover more space with it too. Like I feel like, I don't know if the brush is bigger, but I feel like I'm just flying through this. Normally I have to go back several times. Like it's picking up more powder on the brush, and I'm getting the powder that I need dispensed in less time, kind of thing. So I actually really, really like that. That's nice. So two good brushes so far. This is the JH01 brush, and it is huge. So I'm gonna use this just to try it out, kind of do an all over powder sweep. Okay, so it's big and it's not very dense. So when you press it in, it kind of filters out. So I feel like it's really difficult, or it would be really difficult for you to get like cake face and put too much powder on, but it's super, super soft. And one thing that I'm really impressed with is there are just so many bristles here. That is just jam-packed with bristles, and it's so super, super soft. And the weight is like, it feels like a nice brush. Like when you hold it, I like that. So normally when I go to contour my nose, I just take an angled brush like this. So I actually liked it. It is a little bit different than what I currently use, obviously. It's not as dense, and the bristles kind of move a little bit more. I would say it's similar to the big brush, where the bristles don't stay intact so much. When you press it like this, they kind of bend a little bit. But I do like the fact that it doesn't pick up a ton of product, and you're able to really get in there, and I feel like it did a really, really good job of blending out the area. So, like that so far. What I use currently for kind of more of a contour, I don't do like a harsh contour. I normally just come in and just take one of these brushes. This is the Morphe, again, it was time for brushes. Hence the reason why I bought the whole thing, because I was like, it is time for new brushes. So there is absolutely nothing in this brush collection that is even similar to this, but I'm thinking this is where this bad boy might come in. I don't know. You guys are probably gonna watch the video, or I'm gonna go back onto Jaclyn Hill's video and be like, oh, that's what that's for. I'm gonna go ahead and try this and see how much I like it. Okay, so I actually really, really like that. What I like about it is the fact that it does have that kind of tip at the end. Like it comes to, not a point obviously, but it comes to more of a point than this one does, because usually I would angle it and try to get that chiseled look, but because this already has that point, I'm able to really, and it fits right in there. And when you just go like this, I'm able to kind of bring it up, and it's soft, it packs a good punch. It's dense, and I think it does a really good job of putting the contour exactly where I want it. So let's try the other side. I think it's pretty good. I was gonna do blush, but there really isn't, like, this is what I currently use. This is the Real Techniques blush brush. And so I just like it because it has that kind of chiseled thing, but there really isn't any, I don't know what this is used for. So that's actually not too bad. The camera, I promise you, like I keep looking at this and I'm like, oh my gosh, it just doesn't look good in the camera. But then when I look at it in real life, I'm like, oh, it's not that bad. Like my whole cheek looks like it's red, but in camera or in real life, it doesn't look that bad. It allows me to put the color exactly where I want, right above that contour and right exactly on my cheek. So I actually like that. So next for highlighter, I think I'm gonna use this one. So I'm using the Stila Kitten. This is the new one that came out. It's very, very pretty. So yeah, that's pretty. I think it does a really good job of blending it out. And it's dense, so it just packs that color. So yeah, I think that turned out pretty well. So that is it for the face. So far, I'm absolutely loving the face ones. I think that a lot of them, like they're good brushes. They do feel really, really soft. The bristles are super, super dense. And I think overall, I'm really, really happy with switching out my old brushes and then using this new collection. So let's go ahead and get into the eyes. So here are all the eye brushes. They're, obviously different shapes, different sizes. The one thing that I kind of noticed is I currently use like the Morphe M441 brush because it has a lot of, it doesn't pack that much of a punch. But yeah, the M441 I just use as kind of like the base. And I really don't see any in here that have that, like how big it is. Like this is the closest one. And I just feel like it's too pointed to do an all over color. So I'm gonna go ahead and try it. And then like some of them, like this one, the JH34 and the JH35, I mean, they're obviously different, but they're super, super similar. This is the JH31 and the JH32. And I mean, very, very, small differences between these four brushes right here. So I'm not exactly sure. And then here's another one. This is the JH33. They all look very, very similar. I'm gonna go ahead and use this one and let's see what it looks like. Just gonna go in with a neutral color. Okay, so this isn't bad at all. This is definitely, to me, a good all over color. I was a little nervous at first, but it is dense, but it does a really, really good job of buffing the color out. And I feel, and it's super, super soft. So surprisingly, that one's good. This is the JH30. So I'm gonna go ahead and go in, what the heck? We're gonna go in with this one. This is the JH34. Okay, yeah, so that's very pointed. I mean, it gives a very precise, like in the crease, but it's not so easy to airbrush it out because it doesn't have that dimension, I guess. Like it's just, this one's bigger and it just airbrushes better. Let me try this one. They're just super pointy. I mean, they still do blend out quite well, but I just feel like I have to come in with this one and just kind of blend it out a little bit more just to make sure there's no harsh lines, which is normally what I do anyways, but I feel like the M433 just does it better. I'm gonna try this one. This is the JH31. So this one feels exactly like the JH31 feels exactly like the JH34. Maybe this one is it's a little less pointed, but I just feel like they do the same thing. Like there's not much difference. I'm not 100% in love with the different options of the actual blending. I think that a lot of them are very, very similar and almost seem to do the same things. So those are all the blending. The other thing that I do is I normally go in and go under my eye. Now she has included a really, really cute little pencil thing. I normally go in with, this is just an e.l.f. brush, but it has a little bit more thickness to it, but I think I might like this because it will be a little bit more precise. So we'll see how it works. Yeah, I like this one so much better. I'm able to put the color exactly where I need it. It blends out really, really well. The bristles are soft, but they're still dense, and they get the job done. So yeah, that little bad boy, the JH3, good Lord, you can't see him. JH3A it's really, really nice, so I like that. And then this one is the JH41. This is what I'm gonna use to put a little bit of sparkle right in the corner of my eye. I can't find the current brush that I'm using that I do this, you know, put the little sparkle in, but I do like it. It does have that kind of tapered edge, so you can get right into that corner of your eye and just kind of blend it out. It's super, super dense, and it does a good job of picking up the color. I feel like it grabs the color, but then just easily deposits it right on the eyelid. So normally when I do my eyeliner, I will do a tight line, and then I'll take a smudge brush and just kind of smudge it out. This does not have a smudge brush, but it does have the kind of flat brush. This is the JH43. I do have a similar one. This is the Sigma Flat Definer E15. So they are obviously very, very similar. Now I do have to say the Sigma one kind of gives a little bit more, but the Jaclyn Hill does not. It's a little bit denser, but that could be because I use the Sigma a little bit more, and the Jaclyn Hill is brand new. But I'm gonna go ahead and try this bad boy out. So it's not exactly like my smudger. I like that better, but it does still work, and I don't notice a big difference between the Sigma one and this one. So I'm gonna put some mascara on. Okay, so last but not least, I'm going to go ahead and take this, you know what, I'll do this one. This is the little itty bitty little JH39 pencil brush. I'm just going to do the corner of my eyes. Yeah, and that is literally perfect. Like, it gets right in there. It deposits just the perfect amount of color. My brow bone. So that's it for the full face tutorial. So stay tuned right after this, because I'm going to give you my thoughts on it after using it for a week. I wanted to come back after, I think I've been using them for almost 2 weeks now, so definitely a long enough time to really, really give my opinion. And I wanted to go through some of the brushes that I absolutely love and have replaced some of my other brushes. The first one is this one right here, which is the JH03. This is the one that I use to apply my foundation and BB cream. I really, really like it. Compared to the It Cosmetics brush, it's a little bit more dense, it's a little bit bigger, and what I really, really like about it, even when I was putting it in my first impressions, but right in here is usually where the foundation just doesn't go into my skin, so I have to take a beauty blender and really, really press it. I do not have to do that using this brush. So it's so dense that it really does a good job of pressing that foundation, the BB cream, whatever I'm using, into the skin. So I'm absolutely loving that. The other thing that I am loving is this one right here, the JH02. This is the one that I use to do my bronzer with. As you can see, it's a little brown. It kind of comes to a point right here. Like you can see, it's not like a big fluffy one. It just kind of comes to the point, and I just find that it just sits really, really perfectly right there in that little divot or whatever. And so I'm really able to focus the product there. And then because it's so big, it just makes kind of not chiseling that or not contouring, but just a little bit between a contour and a bronzing, you know, where I'm able to get into there, and it just blends out beautifully. It does a great job. So I'm really, really liking that. The next thing that I've been loving is this one right here. This is the JH08. This is the one that I use to put the under eye powder. And I was using the IT Cosmetic that looked very, very similar to this one, but this one is super, super dense, and it's a little bit bigger than the IT Cosmetics. And I just love it because it really does a good job of packing that powder in there, really getting into those fine lines and pushing it in, and just really melting that powder onto my skin. So I've been loving that one. The other ones that I wasn't sure if I was gonna like this one or not, because what I usually use the angle brush for is kind of using the contouring my nose. But what I didn't like about this brush for that was it's super, super dense, but the bristles are very, very soft, and so they kind of spread out a little bit. So what I've actually been doing is I've been taking the JH06, I think that's what it says, and doing the blush here and just kind of like really focusing on that area. And then I'll take the angled brush and really use it to buff it out and blend it out really well. So I like those combination. The other thing that I've been loving is, we'll do this one. This is the JH09. This I've been using to really pinpoint the highlighter on my cheek. I don't use it to do the whole thing, but just really, if I wanna do like a little bit more precise highlight, I will use this one. But then sometimes, like I use the Hourglass ambient lighting ones, and they're not as bling in your face, so you can kind of pack it on a little bit more. So this is the JH05, and I really use this to kind of press it into the skin if I'm using like the Hourglass, and then just really press it in here and bring it down and press it there. So I've been loving that one. And then this one right here, the JH10, I have been really using it to put the contour right on my nose and really giving it a little bit more precision with my contour on my nose. So I've been liking this bad boy. So my overall thoughts on the collection, I absolutely love the travel case. I think it's great. I always have the problem of shoving them into bags and then the bristles get all crazy. So this gives it a great opportunity to, you know, just put it all in a box, put it in my suitcase, and I don't have to worry about damaging my brushes. So I love that. The other thing I like about it is they don't feel like, this one isn't, like you can feel the weight in it. Like it's not like a cheap, they're not super heavy, which I like because I don't necessarily want a heavy brush, but you can kind of feel in certain ones that like the way that she did the weight, like she really took her time, and I can't explain it. It's just balanced the right way. Like I can feel it when I'm sitting in my hands. I can feel the little weight right here, and it's just perfectly crooked in my finger. It's stupid little things. Like honestly and truly, I don't think that that would make or break anything, but you can just see the little intricacies, you know, the time that she spent. So I like that. As far as the $165, I think for all the brushes that you get in the collection, I think it's a great deal. But it's not a brush set where it will give you every single thing that you want. I still go back to some of my other, for the face stuff, I think it's spot on. I think that everything that was included in the large one was perfect. But I just feel like there was some in the eyeshadow, like the eyeshadow realm, that I did not, like I still grab my other brushes for. So as far as a complete set, if you're looking to spend the $165 and think that you might not need another brush in your collection, I don't think that you're still going to have to add brushes to it, because there are some brushes that are just missing from it. But overall, I think that it's a great deal. I'm happy with the purchase. When I was looking online and trying to figure out, okay, well, could I have just purchased, you know, the other sets, the smaller sets or whatever, but there were still some brushes that I liked from the other, like another set. So I would have to have purchased the whole thing anyways in order to get every single brush that I liked. And of course I wouldn't have known what I liked, because I wouldn't have had all the brushes. But these brushes right here are my daily, everyday use them. So I mean, those are, that's a lot of brushes, you know, for the $165 that I use every single day. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you have tried the brush set and you like it, you didn't like it, please leave your comments below. If you have any questions, leave those below as well. Thank you for watching. Until next time, bye.